in the south. We thug in the streets, there's a root, don't toss. When there's money to be made, we get straight to the moolah. Don't care about beef, not a rapper, I'm a shooter. Got a kid out the mud when you come from the dirt. With the rules, they the plugs, we the ones with the work. See my nigga in the pen, got caught in the system. Count my blessings every day, should have been right with them. Your folk, dripping sauce, got me feeling like Gucci. I'ma die behind mine, on me, gotta shoot me. Told my blockers, we own 16, my years. So to me, about money, can't see, can't hear. Be careful how you talk, you get lost in the sauce. Ain't nothing to a boss, you get lost in the sauce. In the streets, in the dark, you get lost in the sauce. Watch how I walk and get lost in the sauce. Be careful how you talk, you get lost in the sauce. Ain't nothing to a boss, you get your lost in the sauce. In the streets, ain't no law, you get lost in the sauce. Watch how I walk and get lost in the sauce. Lost in the sauce. Lost in the sauce. Lost in the sauce. Ain't nothing to a boss to get you lost in the sauce. Ain't nothing to a hustler to run up the bands. I'm a daddy, I'm a gangster, but first I'm a man. See you try to ride, then go as you plan. Take the pistol when the jam, when the left one where it stand. See you cool, try to play you like you weak, but that's one thing for sure. The boogie at the street, got style, got swag, got juice, got sauce. Bald head with the beard, got me swagging like Ross. So low for myself, smoke the whole house. Now I'm high, then a tick on the ball. Eagles ain't worried about talk, long as you don't touch it. Care less by the bitch. You ain't got a it. Ain't nothing to a boss to leave a hoe in the sauce. Be careful how you talk, you get lost in the sauce. Watch how I walk and get lost in the sauce. In the streets, ain't no law, you get lost in the sauce. Be careful how you talk, you get lost in the sauce. Ain't nothing to a boss to get you lost in the sauce. In the streets, ain't no law.
All right, what's up with you, YouTube? Thank you so much for tuning in. You are tuned in to Katie Talk One on One, and I'm coming with a bit of an updated story, and I'm also coming with some information about what's been going on in Chicago lately. I don't know if you guys know, but I believe maybe since I gotta say maybe around May, Chicago has been reaching record breaking numbers of violence with all of the shooting that's been going on. So I'm going to get to that second. But first, I don't know if you guys know, but I did come with a story about the situation that happened with Brayla Stone. That was the transgender teen that was found dead over in Sherwood, Arkansas. So when I came with the story, it was just a little bit left. It was a little bit in the situation of what the news had to say. But I did end up getting a little bit more information, just a few things that I didn't have in my video first. So I wanted to come with that. And it's just a little bit of extra information. So I'm going to go here, right here. Okay. Right here. I hope you guys are doing okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit that like button when you come in the building. I got and you know what? I actually been talking to another YouTuber, and they're actually gonna set up a platform. I hope whenever she sets it up, I'm gonna give you guys the information and the link to go there. But she's actually going to be discussing about the situation as far as blasting DL men and the dangers involved in it. And we're just going to have a discussion. It's going to be some a variety of people on the panel, people from the LGBT community, and it's going to be a few different people jumping out and in on this situation. So I hope you guys come and check that out. Once I get the information, I'll make sure I give that to you guys. And let's see. It is, I don't know, strolling through my email. I'm trying to find here. Okay, so basically, the update was basically saying, at first it was coming at the beginning talking about how few people in the community had a disdain for the news outlet using Brayla's government name. And the news outlet did come forward and they said they actually contacted the family, and the family actually wanted Brayla's real name stated. So that's what the news went with. And there was actually another YouTuber that I'm actually subscribed to. You guys make sure you check out Shantastic Trill TV. I actually seen some information in her video because I watched it all the way to the end. And it was actually stating, it actually showed a text message that Brayla sent a few days before his death, ended up sending a text message to one of her friends saying, "Come get me." And it sounded like it was like in a panic type of mode. So they were talking about that. And I don't know if you guys seen the screenshots of a man actually admitting that he was paid $5,000 to take Brayla out. And he actually said it was $5,000 well spent. So he ended up saying that. And I don't know if you guys have signed a petition. It's something having to do with the loss of transgenders. And I didn't hear this in my town, but from what I heard from the ad, it actually said that in the past, I think 2 weeks, about 8 transgenders' lives have been took. So they're on. They actually have a petition out that you can sign as far as that situation goes. And something that I'm thinking that I just started thinking to myself when I heard about all this, I was thinking when it happens to the transgender teens, I don't really see Black Lives Matter come out for that situation. And it's just like in a sense they try to separate the LGBT from the Black Lives Matter movement. They try to separate the transgenders from the regular the straight black men that get took by the police. But I think whenever it comes to Black lives matter, Black lives should always matter, no matter what. Black lives matter at all times, no matter what. And I believe whenever we can get that sunk into our head, I think our community can start progressing just a little bit. Looking at the big percentage, looking at the percentage of not only transgenders' lives that have been taken, but look at the violence that's going on in Minnesota. I don't know if you guys know, but I believe they have defunded the police. A big number of police have quit out there. Look at the violence that's going on in Chicago. Um, and I'm thinking to myself, if we're trying to go down a road where we're defunding the police department and getting rid of the police department, before that's done, there has to be some plans put in place, and there needs to be some protocols put in place before you just remove them. Okay, so I ended up finding the article. Okay, so this this outlet, this blogger outlet is called Out. So you guys go and check them out. So they actually posted this. It was yesterday around 2:20. So it says local police in Arkansas. They're treating the death of 17-year-old transgender black woman as a homicide. So it's saying the body of Brayla Stone was found in a car on a walking path in the suburb of Sherwood. So it's talking about what I talked about in the first video. Oh yeah, okay, so here we go. What I was talking about. It's saying that Brayla Stone is the eighth transgender person killed in the last 7 days. Let's see, it says David Johns, exclusive director of the National Black Justice, said in a statement, Brayla Stone is the seven that Brayla Stone was a 17-year-old young woman who someone murdered her because let's see, we live in a society where it is not yet explicit that when we say Black Lives Matter, we mean all Black lives. I was just saying it. Okay. Which includes Black trans women and girls. They matter too. So, let's not forget about them. And it just goes on to say that a person was claiming to be Brayla Stone's killer, and they boasted about the crime on Instagram. And it says that they shared like a screen. They shared a picture with the number 5K in red letters, and it was a bunch of 20s, a few 50s, and a few $100 bills. And the person that posted it actually said it was money well spent. So I believe when they went back to look for this page, the page was gone. And that person ended up coming. I zipped them for 5K, money well spent. Wow. And then it says that a trans activist and journalist, and this is Ashley Marie Preston, was among those calling attention to Brayla's murder and the need for action. She's also calling the media who insisted on using her birth name. I was telling you about that. There was a lot of people in the trans community that was very upset that they were using, the birth name of Brayla. Okay, so Ashley Marie Preston, she took to Twitter and she ended up saying, "This is just dot dot dot," shaking my head. Another black trans girl was murdered. When we said protect our trans women, we meant our youth as well. She was only 17, and the media, of course, used her birth name instead of her real name. Say her name, hashtag Brayla Stone, and she got a picture. She has about 42.3K hearts on there, and 27,000 people tweeted it out. So Brayla is getting a lot of recognition. And I think like what I was thinking to myself, where are the people that's marching for stuff like this when trans people lose their life, especially a teenager? I mean, her life haven't even started and it was ended. And I mean, we all know the scenario. If you guys, seen the different videos that different people post, the news outlet really didn't speak on the whole situation as far as the expose that she went on back in January. And I believe, like, even before January, there was a lot of exposing going on as far as Brayla goes. And don't get me wrong, Brayla Stone was not the only one responsible. Even though, yes, Brayla Stone made a few pages exposing some people, some down low men. But let's make this completely clear. A big part of people responsible, and this is just my opinion right here, so don't mark this as fact because this is just my opinion. It's my platform. I can give my opinion. I think a lot of those women that were down there in those comment sections egging Brayla on and pushing and promoting and encouraging her to blast these men, they're responsible as well. No, they did not take her life, but they played a role in Brayla Stone losing her life. I really feel like that. They played a role in her losing her life. And that's something that probably people don't want to hear. And I'm sure maybe the same people that were down there encouraging her to do it, saying, "Oh, girl, what else do you know? Who else on the DL?" You're pushing and promoting her to do something that put her life in danger. So those people need to be responsible as well. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. I don't know what you guys think, but please drop your comments below. Let me know what you think. Do you feel like more people were actually responsible for her passing? It was so many people involved in that situation. I think if it wasn't so much entertained, I don't think it would have got out of hand like it did. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. So it's saying that yeah, they ended up starting a oh yeah, there's a petition going around on change.org and it already has over 100,000 signatures. Let me see if I can find this petition. I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna drop the link to that petition in my comment section. If anyone is interested in signing that petition, I'm gonna try to find it and I'm gonna share the link. I'm gonna sign it as well. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay. Let's see. Um, Okay. So I am signing this petition. I just submitted it myself. So I hope you guys are encouraged to sign it as well. I'm gonna try to let me go ahead and download this link because I'm gonna share it to the comment section. So I hope you guys jump in there and sign the petition as well. And it's basically just stopping the violence and bringing more light to these situations. Because I don't know if you guys know, I mean, as you guys know, when it comes to the Black community, there's there's maybe only 2 out of 10 crimes, 2 out of 10 homicides get solved. I mean, it's really, really less when it comes to the transgender community. A lot of them have their life took, and very rarely anyone is brought to justice. So hopefully that's something that can change. I'm really, really hoping that. So let me drop this link, and then I'm going to switch off into the story about. I'm going to switch off into the story about this situation with Chicago. And it's really crazy to me that the the violence was so high, even surrounding all of the protesting that's been going on, as far as Rashard Brooks goes, as far as George Floyd goes. My people have been out here protesting and protesting, for equality. And, we're trying to hold police more accountable for the things that's going on as far as the stuff that they have a hand in. We want to hold them accountable for all of those situations. But at the same time, we have stuff like this going on. We have, you know, looking at what's going on in Chicago, it's really sad. It's really sad looking at the fact that my people are going, not just Black people, but people of all colors and races are down there protesting with us for equality in the wrongdoing that's happening to us by the police. But somehow the attention is not focused everywhere on every Black life. I think, I mean, I think that's the thing that kind of get me. I can't lie. And I know most of the time the really, really, really super, I would call them maybe the super pro Black people, they don't like to hear things like that because they feel like, I think most of the time they feel like that it takes a light off of what they're doing, but at the same time it doesn't, because these are Black lives that are being lost, whether it's being took by another Black person or whether it's being took by a police or whatever. A Black life lost is a Black life lost. And we cannot continue to sweep those big numbers under the rug. I mean, just think, when you're in a house cleaning up, you're trying to clean up the house. I feel like, that's basically what's going on out here in the streets. We're out here cleaning up the house. But when you take those large numbers, referring to the situations that's going on in Chicago with all of that violence, when you take all of those numbers and you simply try to sweep them under the rug, but you still call yourself trying to clean the house up, the house still not going to be clean if you don't tackle every part of the house that you're trying to clean. And that's what I think people really, really need to try to focus on, is every life being lost. There's no reason why, and don't get me wrong, because I'm not living in Chicago. I lived in Chicago once, back in 2007. I was up there with my oldest son, people and stuff like that. It was very violent then. This was around 2007, but it's way worse now. It's terrible now, and it's very, very much way more out of control now. But looking at the situation with what's going on there, we cannot continue to sweep this under the rug. We can't do it because it's so, so harmful to our people. And the people in these communities, they claim to be, they're pro-black and they're for black people and they're against the police brutality against black people. People need to speak up and be against the brutality of any black life. Any black life lost, people should be enraged. People should not just be enraged when it's the police that did it. Because you got to look at it like this. Look at the black community as if we are a family, as if we are a household. We are one. When there's one family member disrespecting another, and the people on the outside are able to see the disrespect, how much respect can they have for us as a community in a whole? That's the only thing I try to talk about as far as how I feel about the Black Lives Matter situation, the police brutality situation. I try to look at things all the way around when it comes to the safety of my community. I try to look at things all the way around. We can never be one-sided when it comes to the safety of our people. We can never be one-sided when it comes to trying to change our people. When it comes to change in our community, we cannot be one-sided, because you got to look at what's going on in Chicago and look at it as, oh my God, they're trying to defund the police. So pretty soon there's not going to be any police around. Can you imagine how out of control things are going to be? And some people that are angry towards the things that the police have done to us and have done to our community, they're thinking, well, the police didn't do anything anyway. You guys, let's not put to the side that the police have brought some order. Now, let's not talk like all of them are bad. Let's not talk like all of them are doing the same thing, because all of them are not doing the same thing. There's truly people there that are there to protect and to serve and to do their job. And just looking at, I use this for example, because this was something that I ended up witnessing early in 2018. Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember, it was a situation that happened in North Little Rock, and it was with a young man that goes by the name of CJ. God rest his soul. Okay, so CJ, let me tell you about this. I was just coming from one of my guy friends' house. It was about maybe close to 2 o'clock in the morning. When I pulled up at the stop sign, I seen the police basically emptying the clip in this young man. He was laying on the ground, and I was a witness to him being taken out of here by the police. I was a witness to that. So I came in at the butt end of that situation. And let me tell you this, I did not see the full context of what happened. When I made it home that night, I was just in disbelief of what I seen. I was very emotional. There's a very good lawyer that I'm friends with him on Facebook. So I ended up inboxing him and I was telling him I just seen North Little Rock police shoot a young boy down in cold blood. I can look at him and tell he was a young boy. Then come to find out, later he was actually the son of one of my classmates that graduated with me. And one a day or so went by, the North Little Rock police released a video. So they were outside of that police department and they were protesting and they were saying, justice for CJ, justice for CJ. Don't you know when that tape was released, the police, they were being so nice to these gentlemen who they pulled over. CJ was driving. There was a young man in the passenger seat and one man in the back seat. It was a total of three of them. When the police pulled them over, they talked to them for a while. They asked them, you've been smoking, you've been drinking. They was like, yeah, we got a little, a little green, we got a little piece of blunt. We've been drinking a little bit. So they were telling the police that they just came from a party. To make a long story short, the police told all of them to get on out the car. So the guy in the passenger seat in the back seat got out. CJ was still over there talking to one of the officers, while one of the officers were over there talking to the two young gentlemen sitting on the curb. When they got CJ out of the car, they ended up feeling the pistol on his hip. They was telling him, put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up. Now, this is all view from the body cam. They was telling him to put his hands up. Don't you know, CJ went, he grabbed that gun, and he almost ended up shooting one of his friends, but he was shooting at the police. He tried to shoot at the police, and that's when he got shot down. So I caught the butt end of that story. So I was in the feeling like, hey, I'm finna go and stand up for this. This is not right. He shot that boy down in cold blood. But I did not see the full context initially. So we have to start looking at situations in a whole. And a lot of people start thinking like this. There's no way there's no way that a police should ever take a life. But you have to think how dangerous a police job is. Don't you know that they deal with some people that are not only just mentally ill, they deal with people who have snapped. I'm talking about people who are not mentally ill. They deal with people out here who have snapped and ready to die and ready to take somebody with them. So you got to realize what they're dealing with. Not trying to cover what they're doing or nothing like that. I still look at things in reality and in plain view. But you have to take in consideration every side of the spectrum. And we got to start holding each other accountable. And a lot of time, come on, let's be honest, we're down in some of these neighborhoods where the people around in the neighborhood will just watch a train wreck, and they'll sit and watch a train wreck. They'll sit and watch a person that's dangerous to their community, dangerous to themselves. And when things erupt and the police get involved, then everyone's upset of the outcome that happens when that same person that was around could have stopped the situation before it progressed. I seen a video of a guy trying to help his girlfriend. Some girls trying to jump him or something. But there was a man that came from out of he was like just, a bystander watching, and he was gonna, try to get in there and break the fight up. Don't you know, two guys basically, chase this guy off like, hey, what you doing? Stay up out that beat. So y'all gonna sit there and watch them two people fight. Then if one of those people leave, get a pistol or something like that, come back and take a person's life, y'all gonna be sitting. I mean, they sit around. Oh, I can't believe they dead. You sit there and watch the destruction go down. What do you mean you can't believe they're dead? This is ridiculous. People got to start holding themselves accountable. That is very, very important that people hold themselves accountable. That's the only way we're going to start seeing change. We can't build up a whole generation of people who refuse to look at things in a reality. We can't live in a generation of people who refuse to look at a situation and say, oh, well, I could have done something different. I could have made a different move. Maybe I was wrong when I did that. Maybe I was wrong when I did that. If you're dealing with a whole generation of people who are just looking to place the blame on someone, you're going to just raise a whole generation of degenerates. And that's what's going on. A lot of these laws are built to protect the degeneracy. It's sad. It's really sad to me. And just looking at the whole situation and seeing what's happening, I'm going to transition off into the stories as far as Chicago goes. I got 2 to 3 articles, so I won't be here much longer. I think I've been going for about 30 minutes now, so I won't be too much longer. But I want to get off into this article right here before I get up out of here. Um, okay. Okay, so this is, let me see what date this on. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is coming from out of, okay, this is coming from out of ABC 7, and this is out of Chicago. Okay, so it says the Chicago weekend. Oh, yeah, and this is marked June the 29th. So, this was just yesterday. I think today is the 30th. So this is 29th. So it says Chicago weekend shooting, 63 shot, 16 fatally shot. So that means 16 dead, and the violence across the city. And I'm going to read a little bit from this article, and then I'm going to play the little clip, and then this is fair use. But yeah, it says Chicago police and the community leaders are struggling for solutions after a back-to-back weekend in which young children were shot and killed. We are tapping all of our resources to ensure these killings cannot kill. Let's see, these killers cannot kill anyone else. So this came from the superior person over the department in Chicago, and his name is David Brown. And he also said we all need to be outraged by this violence. That's exactly what I was saying. And it says, according to Chicago police, 63 people were shot. 16 of them were fatalities between 6 p.m. on Friday, 11:59 p.m. Sunday. Wow. So just over the weekend, 63 people were shot and 16 people were killed. And that's from Friday evening at 6 to Sunday night at 11:59. 63 people. Imagine that. Let's see. And then it says 3 of those were fatal shooting victims. 3 of them were minors. So 3 of them that ended up passing from those gunshots were minors, police said. We have a 1-year-old and a 10-year-old killed for no reason at all. The detective, Commander Brandon, he said these guys have to get off the street quickly. Do you think anybody will go to the police and turn these guys in? Do you think anybody will hit the streets and protest against these violent killers in Chicago? Pretty good question. You guys let that marinate. At the press conference on Monday morning, the Superintendent Brown said that he made 22 gun arrests and recovered 66 guns over the weekend. Please help us bring these murderers to justice. These evil bastards behind those guns, Brown said. So I'm gonna play a clip of Brown speaking on the situation, and this is fair use, and it's coming from out of ABC 7. Listen to this. I hope it ain't no ad. Let's see. Turn this up.
Chicago is now streaming live newscasts and weather with our ABC 7 app on all these platforms. Just search ABC 7 Chicago and download our free.
Okay, here you go.
Is responding to a fatal crime scene that involves children, especially babies. Among the 14 shooting victims killed by gun violence this weekend, 2 were children. One was just a few months shy of turning 2 years old. On Saturday afternoon, a mother and her 20-month-old son were shot in the 6000 block of South Halstead Street in Inglewood. The mother survived, the baby did not. Later that evening, an 8-year-old girl was injured when a stray bullet came through the window of her Inglewood home and grazed her on the head. Also on Saturday evening, a 10-year-old girl was inside an apartment unit in Logan Square when a bullet struck her in the head. She was later pronounced dead at Stroger Hospital. As a law enforcement professional, I can stand here and tell you that over the weekend, our officers made 22 gun arrests throughout the city. That's just over the weekend. And took 66 guns out of the neighborhood. That's 22 gun arrests and recovered 66 guns out of neighborhoods just over the weekend. And just in the last 6 months, we seized 4,629 illegal guns in this city. This builds off the efforts in recent years, as Chicago PD has recovered 10,897 guns in 2019 and 9,659 guns in 2018. Over 10,000 guns recovered in 2019, over 9,000 guns in 2018. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. As a dad, sitting alongside other parents up here on this podium, I struggle to make sense of the reckless gun violence that continues to take the lives of our young people throughout the city. What I want to talk about are the guns we weren't able to get to on time. The guns and the cowards, these evil bastards behind those guns that caused the senseless loss of life over the past weekend. And our officers are not immune from gun violence either. So far in 2020, 16 Chicago police officers have been fired upon. 16. 4 officers so far this year have been struck by gunfire. Our officers are not immune to this. Like Chief Waller said on yesterday, when is it going to stop? When we have young, innocent lives lost, we all need to be outraged, all of us, by this violence. This is not just a problem for Inglewood or Humboldt Park or any other neighborhood plagued by gun violence. We cannot compartmentalize the violence that is tearing families and communities apart. We are all part of this city. We all see its beauty, and we can no longer turn a blind eye to the violence here. I am pleading, please help us bring these murderers to justice. We are tapping every resource at our disposal to ensure these killers never have the chance to get their hands on another gun and take another life. But make no mistake, As I said last week, and as I would continue to repeat, we cannot do this alone. We need the help of the entire criminal justice system, our city partners, and most importantly, our community members to step up and not only help us identify these perpetrators of violence, but to keep them off our streets until they get their day in court, and to keep these violent offenders locked up and off our
streets. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna just stop it right there. That's probably about a good 12 minutes long. But looking at the numbers of the guns that they have retrieved off the street between 2018 and between 2019, do the math. That was about a good 20,000 guns that they got off the street. 20,000 guns. Imagine that. And then, like he said, I want to focus on the other ones that I haven't got. Think of how many other weapons are out there in the hands of killers. And I just ended up posting on my Facebook page in this article, shout out to OnSite. This article came from OnSite. It was actually 2 teenagers in Chicago. They were at a gas station and they ended up seeing a gentleman that was pretty tall. He was pretty tall. So they just seen the gentleman and they was like, wow, you're tall. How tall are you? And they got their candy and whatever goods they purchased and they left and they walked out of the store. Don't you know? The man who they asked him how tall was he, that man ended up seeing them walking through the alley and he took both of their lives. He took both of those 2 teenagers' lives. And I'm about to find this article and I'm gonna play this for you. Then I'm probably get up out of here and I'm gonna get up out of here after this one. I've been out here for about 40 some minutes now. Okay, so this is fair use.
2 felony counts of first-degree murder. In addition to other charges, friends, 17-year-old Jayshon Francis and 16-year-old Charles Riley had gone to a corner gas station Saturday afternoon in the 7900 block of South Luella with a third friend to buy some candy. While they were in line, the teens commented on Battle's 6'3" frame, asking him how tall he was. They bought their candy and left the store, walking home through an alley. That's when police say Battle followed them out, firing 9 rounds at the teenagers, killing both Francis and Riley.
He never told the detectives why. Why did you do this? That's the only thing that we have is from talking to the witnesses' friends. That's the only conversation that occurred. There was no altercation. There was nothing that would have set off a Battle to be angry at these kids. They literally, he's about 6'3", 6'4", and they literally just asked him how tall he was because he is extremely tall.
The third teenager was not hit. Battle was arrested Wednesday at a motel in West Suburban Schiller Park. He does have a criminal record. Police say he is due in bond court today. There's going to be a 6 p.m. prayer vigil at the scene of the shooting for the 2 victims tonight.
Okay, so that's that story right there. How tall are you? Push this man to take 9 shots at those teenagers and took both of their lives. This is senseless. Something needs to be done about this. All Black lives should matter at all times. Well, for the person that made it to the end, I think I got 1 or 2 watching now. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I am off work tomorrow. I have a lot more things that I need to talk about as far as this violence goes. In Chicago and in our Black communities, all the way around. There was a story I ended up doing on, I believe it was yesterday. It was a gentleman who ended up carjacking a taxi cab, and he ended up wrecking the cab. And on the corner at a local gas station, he ended up having a run-in in an altercation with the police. He ended up stabbing one of the police officers. After he stabbed the one police officer, his other bag of officer came up, pleading with the man to drop the weapon. Drop the weapon. He didn't drop it. The police officer first pulled out his taser. He tased the man. The taser did not work. He jumped up and went at the police, and the police, took his life. So I'm gonna get off into some more of that as far as that situation goes. And to trail the story all the way to the end of what I have now, they ended up getting a search warrant for the man who got took out by the police. They got a search warrant to search his house. When they went into that man's house, there was a dead body of a woman on the inside of that house. So if they come with some more updates on that story, I'm most definitely going to go live and talk about that. So I hope you guys go ahead and hit that like button, share if you care, tap that subscribe button if you have not. And a big shout out and much love to all of my new members of Talk Nation. Thank you so much for subscribing, and I hope you guys stay tuned. If you're interested in the latest and breaking news, discussions about our community, a little bit of YouTube gossip and chat, and just a little bit of celebrity chat, you make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay tuned to Katie Talk One on One. Once again, and I am signing out. And as usual, love you, YouTube, and I'll see you next time. Peace.